everyone. Welcome back to Strategy Saturday. I'm Ann, your nurse and your transformational coach. So welcome back. Today we're talking about overcoming perfectionism, right? To those here as a recovering perfectionist, yeah. My past, I would have probably made sure my hair was perfect and everything was perfect and just me, right? Had to strive for perfection. But perfectionism is a myth, right? Being able to be perfect, that inner critic just pushes us to achieve things that unrealistic, right? So as I said, I am a recovering perfectionist. If you are a perfectionist in that recovery process, or just realizing maybe you are a perfectionist, make sure you comment below. We will want to support each other. So some information from an article by Elizabeth Scott about overcoming this perfectionism. So many of us have that trait, right? So even proud of it. I'm a perfectionist. I like things perfect. I like all my ducks in a row. I have to have everything just so. Or causes me anxiety. But there are important differences between perfectionism and high achievers, right? I'm a high achiever as well, and a recovering perfectionist. But being a higher achiever is far better for your health and your happiness as well. So if you have those perfectionist tendencies, try to kind of find strategies to get past them and move forward. Being a non-perfectionist high achiever, that's okay. So perfectionism can rob you of your peace of mind, right? Your enjoyment of life, your self-esteem. If I don't hit that goal, if I don't get it right, then you just feel deflated, and it's a lot of stress and a lot of overwhelm, a lot of self-induced pressure that we're putting on ourselves. So it's a process that takes a little time and practice, still learning. Shedding that burden of perfectionism can be really good at decreasing your stress, right? Even just on a daily basis. So perfectionism differs from that high achievement in one important way. It's where your focus lies, right? Focus on what's right in front of you, what's most important to you. So if you're striving for excellence, you can find happiness with your achievements, and then we can learn from our mistakes, right? But if you're a perfectionist, it's kind of hard to do that, right? So that's where that gets a little less forgiving, right? We beat ourselves up. Anything that is a little lacking, a little slacking, we rob ourselves of any satisfaction, any pride that comes from all those little things that we did well. We don't ever cheer ourselves on. So one of the most significant problems that we face is the fear that if they stop shooting for perfection, they'll be a low achiever, right? And their goals will just go by the wayside. So just going to reassure you, letting go of perfectionist attitudes can actually help you excel more. Hard concept sometimes to wrap your head around, but perfectionists actually achieve less than those who have those healthier attitudes, because the focus actually of perfection robs them of that motivation, and actually can bring on procrastination and kind of some other self-defeating habits. So let's take a little closer look, right? So look at those perfectionist traits, those negative consequences that might come up. Maybe you're experiencing several of them right now, right? Be more of your patterns. Like, what are those patterns? It's a great idea to kind of go over each day and remember the times that you felt maybe that you failed. And fail remembers that first attempt in learning, right? Or maybe that you haven't done well enough. Write down what you thought at that time. If you're struggling with perfectionists, you probably have kind of honed in on that skill of spotting mistakes, even if it's the best work of others or yourself. They're like, oh, look what they didn't do. Well, you didn't look at what they did do, though, right? You might kind of naturally look for it, and when you're looking for it, you're gonna notice it. So this habit might be difficult to stop. You can maybe soften your tendencies toward that by making a conscious effort to notice all the good work, right? And all those achievements of others and yourself. So if you notice something you don't like about yourself or your work, for example, look for other qualities that you do like. List out 5 qualities that are positive and that you like. So kind of balance out that critical focus and kind of, tune you into that positive new habit of, okay, what do I like? What do I like about this? So that can be a big one. I struggle with people not meeting my expectations, those expectations that I don't tell them I have, and I get really upset when I don't meet them. Working through it. But it's hard. That is a hard thing. So this is me learning as we go as well. So we need to alter that inner critic self-talk to find the positive in everything. So as I said, fail is that first attempt at learning. We gotta flip the coin. What's the other perspective? What's the positive side of things? How can we reframe that self-talk? So we're gonna set goals that are realistic and achievable, right? Those SMART goals. Good to aim high, good to shoot for the stars, but not to be hard, and not be so hard on yourself when we actually don't kind of land there. I am with you. I'm a high achiever. I want to, get to that point where I am shooting for the stars, but learning right now that it's about the 1% progression, and it's okay to be a B student. Really hard one for me. I was that A+ student, pushed and pushed and pushed myself. No pressure from anyone else really around me, just pushed myself to that point. But it's going to take a process, right? So we're going to start out slow, the little baby steps about changing that process, about perfectionism. And remember, it's about the journey too. That's something I'm learning as well. You got to enjoy the journey. Sometimes that journey takes you where you didn't think it was going to take you, and that's okay, because that's maybe where you need to actually be, out of that familiar zone. And one important way to recover from perfectionism is to begin focusing actually on the process of reaching that goal rather than just on the goal, right? So if you tend to look at criticism as an attack, reacting defensively and attitude change can actually help with that as well. So constructive criticism can give you an important clue on how to improve your performance, right? It's hard to take. It really is. Sometimes we ask for it, we get it, and we're like, man, that was harsh. Didn't realize that they felt that way about me. But realize that they're coming from a perspective of maybe some positive intentions as well with that, but they're trying to help you grow and achieve what you want to achieve. Especially if you ask for it, be ready for it, but be open to what people might have to say, and remember it's just their perspective as well. But if you have those perfectionist tendencies, it's kind of hard to take some of that sometimes. But remember, those are just those stepping stones that kind of get you to the next step of moving on from that perfectionism. So it's okay to remind yourself that mistakes are a great way to learn too, right? So some 6 habits, these are from Henrik Edberg to kind of help us with this. So go for the good. Aiming for perfection usually winds up in a project or something else not actually finished, right? So, if I can't do it perfectly, I'm not going to do it at all. So go for good enough. Second one is to realize that for yourself and the people around you are buying into this myth of perfection. Kind of hard to remind yourself of that, but remember that simple fact that you're actually not doing anyone good by trying to reach that perfection. The third one is accept that you are human and so is everyone else. Remember, we're not superheroes, we're just humans trying to do the best we can. To set those human standards for everyone and accept that life is actually like that. We are not superheroes. 4, compare yourself to yourself. No more compare and despair, right? So if you constantly compare yourself to other people, it can lead you to feeling inferior. You see things on TV and the social media, or people that you work with. There's always going to be someone that's quote unquote better than you in that area of your life. So always compare yourself to yourself. How have I grown? How have I overcome this? What steps am I making to get to the goals that I want to get to? The 5th one is, what do you think is the right thing? So you realize that perfection will harm you and you maybe try to avoid it, right? But people in the media and society kind of influence how you think and feel. So do what you think is right. The 6th one is to shape an environment of human standards around you. Emotions are contagious, right? We know the negative emotions are contagious. Let's learn to do the positive so those can be just as contagious. Perfectionism is contagious as well. You aim high achievers fine, but that perfectionism, it can pull down a lot of people. So spend less time with those nervously perfectionist people too, right? You kind of get that vibe of I want to be a high achiever and I want a positive attitude. Kind of go toward those people. They're maybe more healthy and relaxed as well. So these are some great tips to help you recover from perfectionism. If you need support or help in this area, just post below, message me, maybe a hands up on a recovering perfectionist as well, and tag someone that maybe needs to hear these tips on perfectionism. Remember, it really is just a myth. You can't ever strive for, can't ever get perfection. I should say. Remember that I'm here. I'm helping professionals with overwhelming challenges and burnout to kind of build their resilience and take ownership of their well-being. Thanks for joining me this week for Strategy Saturday, where we're exploring how to navigate the challenges of nursing. make sure you join me next week, and everyone have a great weekend. And remember, I've got an announcement coming up, so make sure you're staying tuned and it should be fun and exciting. I'm excited to get it out there to you guys. So as I said, everyone have a great weekend, and remember, it's okay to be a recovering perfectionist.